Welcome to the Long Run with Joel and Christy. I'm Christy, and today we're going to be talking about my February 2023 goal recap. So we'll be talking about that, as well as how I'm doing so far on the Project 50 Challenge, which we started somewhere in the middle of February. So we were like, I don't know, 15 days. I can't remember. I'll put it right there. Right there. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started on those goals. Oh, and also at the end of this video, I'll be sure to link a video from last month where we shared the Project 50 challenge and how we were modifying it, because there's nothing wrong with doing this to lose weight, but we didn't want that to be our emphasis. Instead, we wanted our emphasis to be on setting healthy habits, especially when it comes to morning routines. And so we'll get into that in a few minutes. But if you want to see the full list and what we were thinking when we modified the challenge, then be sure to check out that video at the end of this one. Okay, so my goals for February were to average 9,000 steps a day. And I failed on this one. Here's the thing. We started the Project 50 challenge and I kind of forgot about the other goals. And the thing was, with Project 50 challenge, you're supposed to do 1 hour of exercise, and I wanted 30 minutes on 4 days a week. I wanted 30 minutes to be walking and 30 minutes to be strength training. And on the other 3 days, I was like, I'll walk for an hour. And so I just wasn't keeping up with how many steps that was equaling. But you can imagine if I only walked for 30 minutes, that was nowhere near to 9,000 steps, and it wasn't. And I didn't think about it till like February 22nd or 23rd that I wasn't writing those down. And I looked and I was like, yeah, there's no way that I will actually average 9,000 steps. So you can imagine, since I'm in the middle of the Derek's Journey Steps Challenge this month, that obviously I'm keeping a better, closer rein on how many steps I'm actually taking. But I did not accomplish them in February for sure. Strength training, I did that 4 days a week. And also on 4 days a week, I wanted to start out my morning with eating a very healthy breakfast, and I did that. And 3 days a week, I wanted to intermittent fast, and I did that. And then on at night for dinner meals, I wanted, and I want to be careful how I say this, I wanted lower carb options. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I am not on a low carb diet of any kind, and I don't have anything against a low carb diet. But what I wanted was to replace some of those carbs with vegetables. So instead of eating white rice, I was eating riced cauliflower, riced broccoli. Instead of white potatoes, I was eating sweet potatoes, which I've been doing that for a long time anyway. And it's a personal preference. I've never been a huge potato fan. I'm more of a sweet potato fan anyway. And I was just like leaving out bread. To be honest, I've never eaten a lot of bread anyway, but I've just been lowering those options. But I will be honest with you, I said with lower carb options, as long as it, was something that I could manipulate. In other words, if the recipe had white rice that was cooked into the dish, I didn't make separate rice and or eat a whole different thing than my family because I didn't want white rice. I just didn't. I just went ahead and had the white rice. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. That is not about eliminating carbs completely for me. It's just I would like to focus a little more on some more vegetables, and that's a great way to do it, is by choosing those things like rice, cauliflower. Okay, now we're going to move on to my next goal, which was to read 1 book every month. And in February, my book was a genealogy book. I'll put the picture right here. That genealogy book When I mentioned it last month, some of you guys asked me to keep you posted on whether or not I found out more about my family. And what I found out was this book had a lot of information. It's great because it tells you all of these different ways to go about learning about your family and your ancestry, but it also kind of, it's like you would need to read the whole book one time through so that you could get a game plan for how you would want to research them. And since my grandfather was adopted, there was a whole section on that, so that's probably where I'm going to start. But I feel like that may be something that I do in this upcoming month, is now that I've read through the whole book, it's time to start going through that and looking at the different options and start there in that section about adoption. Also, in March, my book will be Due Process. This will be the last book in the series, and the thing is that the author passed away right after this book was written, so we don't know if he meant to write another one after it. But the thing is, it should be fine because all of the books so far have like not, there hasn't been like this huge cliffhanger that if you don't read the next book, you won't understand what happened. All of them are standalone books in my mind, but it is the same character, but you don't, the only thing that is a cliffhanger is a lot of times he would put the first couple of chapters at the end of that book so that you would know what was coming, and that would be your cliffhanger. So if there is another like couple of chapters at the end of this book, as long as we don't read that, we should be okay. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the Project 50 challenge. One is to wake up at 6 a.m. Actually, it's to wake up at 8 a.m., but that wasn't a challenge. So I said 6 a.m. because I usually wake up about 6:30 a.m. So some mornings, I haven't done it every morning. I've had, it's about 3 mornings so far that I like turned off all the alarms or something. I don't know. Like, I sleep so good that alarms are like, I'll just keep hitting them. I'll like, leave me alone. All right, so 1 hour, no distractions. I'm doing really good on that. Just a few times I've picked up my phone and started to open up something like Facebook or Instagram, and then I would stop and go, no, you're not supposed to do that yet. So for the most part, I haven't had any trouble other than those couple of times, and I always catch myself immediately when I do it. I haven't had any trouble with like being on it for 10 minutes and then realizing, oh no, I'm not supposed to be doing this. So read 10 pages every day. Yes, I've been doing that every day. I read 10 pages out of a book. Exercise for 1 hour. I have exercised every day for 1 hour. 1 hour new skill. I have, that has been going pretty well. It's either been that I've worked on Spanish and I've been doing good on that, or I've worked on anything that's like growing myself as a YouTuber or social media person. Like either I will work on like learning how to do a better job at posting on Instagram or something, or improving my video editing skills or thumbnails or photography or something like that. For the most part, it's gone really well. The only downside that I've had is that I changed up my phone settings on the camera, and it actually caused me to have a lot of problems for like 5 or 6 days. I actually ended up having to delete a lot of footage off my phone, and having to do a reset on my phone after I backed everything up because it was dragging the memory so bad. I don't know why. I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max with 126 gigabytes of storage, but it could not hold the footage. And then I couldn't get it to upload to my computer, but I had to set put all my settings back to what they were before I took up that idea. So there's that, and healthy diet, I've already talked about that. And then journaling, I've done that every day as well. And so that is all of that. Hopefully I did not make this video too long. I appreciate you all, and I just want you to know that we just love having you here. Te amo. So we know that goal videos are not everyone's favorite. We don't get as many views on them, but we do this more to help us stay accountable, and hopefully encourage you all that if you are looking for, you know, anything that just to strive for, you know, that it's okay. Just take it slow. It's okay. Make those goals small, because those are easy to achieve, and when you achieve them, they become more of a habit. And so that's what we're really liking about Project 50, is that we were able to make them small and attainable, but also just a little challenging, so that when this is over, as long as we like the habit that we were working on, we will continue working on that habit and continue doing it. You know, we might see one that we said we did it the 50 days, but it wasn't something that we want to do forever. But some of them hopefully will be established habits by the end, and things that we really want to do. Like for me, waking up at 6 o'clock and 1 hour with no distractions, I want that to keep going and keep happening. So, and obviously the exercise, got to keep doing that one too. Again, if you'd like to see the video where we speak about how we modified the Project 50 challenge, I'll put it right here, right there. And I hope you'll check it out. And until then, this is Christy with The Long Run with Joel and Christy saying, it's a long run. Give yourself a little grace. Bye.